Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Racing Productions MC and producer. And joining me today is Erin Maye Quade. Welcome.
So much for having me.
It's so great to have you here. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I am doing really, really good. So I want to kick this off with just having you introduce yourself to our audience and let them know a little bit about you, your background, and your experience.
All right. So I'm Erin Maye Quade. I use she, her pronouns, and I am running for Minnesota State Senate in the great state of Minnesota from a suburb called Apple Valley. It's 20 minutes south of Minneapolis, St. Paul. I am a lifelong organizer. So I began organizing when I was in college. I worked for then Senator Obama, President Obama, the former governor of Minnesota, Mark Dayton, and our current Attorney General, former Congressman Keith Ellison, when I was doing organizing work and policy work. In 2016, I ran for the Minnesota State House, and I was the only Democrat who flipped a seat from Republican to Democrat in the state house that year. And, I did so as a Black queer woman in the suburbs. I am proudly all of those things, and a millennial, which, I'm like not young in real life, but I'm young for the Minnesota legislature. And so, I'm also pregnant right now. So I'm holding on to
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. 38 weeks. So I'm just at the end here.
Yes.
So when I was elected in 2016, I was often called the most vulnerable member of the House because I was the only one who flipped a seat, right? And so people were like, you should really be quiet and keep your head down. And I was like, that's not really my jam. And so I, established myself as a fierce champion for families, for paid medical leave, fully funding our public schools, disability and climate justice, racial equity. I was a founding member of we call it the People of Color and Indigenous Legislators Caucus, or the POSSE Caucus, POCI. And I was really proud to be not only a champion, but an effective legislator. I was able to pass a bill while I was legislating in the minority as a freshman. I started the Bipartisan Childhood Hunger Caucus, which is a group of legislators, nonprofits, and businesses dedicated to ending hunger. I spoke out against the rampant culture of sexual harassment at the legislature, which was scary at the time. I did a sit-in on the House floor to protest inaction on gun violence prevention. And I was ultimately in 2018 selected to be the running mate for Erin Murphy, who was running for governor. So I was her lieutenant governor candidate. And I was the first LGBTQ person to be endorsed on a major party ticket in the state and among the youngest. So I'm really proud.
Wow.
I know, just lots going on. So I'm really proud of the multiracial cross-sector coalition building I did as a legislator. And I've really taken that to the next level. In my current work, I'm the advocacy director at Gender Justice, a legal policy advocacy nonprofit dedicated to advancing gender equity through the law. And part of that work, I run the largest multiracial cross-sector coalition on reproductive health rights and justice in the state. And we've been working to protect and expand access to abortion care and all reproductive health care in Minnesota for the last 3 years. We would be the only state in Minnesota where abortion would be legal if Roe v. Wade is overturned this summer, as people are expecting it to be.
Wow.
In my spare time, I guess, I serve on the board of directors for Hunger Solutions Minnesota and State Innovation Exchange, which is a group that connects progressive state legislators to each other. And I previously served as the board chair of Outfront Minnesota. And I think you saw a picture of my wife, Elise, and I, and we've got two rescue dogs, Jeffers and Soda. And I'm running for state senate now because I know that tinkering on the edges of our problems is just not going to solve them. We have tremendous opportunity to leverage this moment and respond to the despair and despondency with real meaningful changes that address our issues at their root cause and deliver material changes for people's lives. So that's really why I'm running. That's about me. That's probably
Certainly. Well, I'd love to know some of those issues or some of those challenges that you've observed, that you would love to tackle if elected to this role.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I think that I can think about it in terms of policy, and then I can think about it in terms of people. So when we think about policy, it's things like paid family medical leave, reproductive health rights and justice, I call it human and public infrastructure. So we need to build up our care network. We need to have living wages for people who care for children and our cherished elders. We need to, build roads and have Wi-Fi and all of those things. Safeguarding our civil and human rights. The attacks on people of color, the attacks on the LGBTQ community are relentless. And we're watching, in real time as censorship tries to erase not only our existence currently, but our historical existence and contributions to the world, which is really scary. But then I also think about kind of this people, like we really need to reject the politics of fear and division that tells us that, we're not like one another, that our needs are so different that we can't talk about how we achieve them together, and how we really build the kind of coalition to unlock that transformative, life-changing kind of politics that brings, change to bear in our life. So, those are two different pieces. It's like policy and people.
Yeah, certainly. And that's so important. Tell me, what is your favorite thing about, or one of your favorite things about Minnesota? And when you think of Minnesota and a Minnesotan that you kind of always go back to?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So like most states, people in Minnesota think Minnesota is the best state. We
Of
are,
course.
obviously. One of my favorite fun facts is Minnesota has more shoreline than California, Florida, and Hawaii combined. We are the land of, I
Wow.
know, we're the land of 10,000 lakes, but it's more like 13,000, 14,000, something like that. And I think Prince said that he'll always live in Minneapolis because it's cold and it keeps the bad people out. So we're a strong state with proud history. We have notched some really progressive wins. We're the longest voting blue state in the nation. When all y'all voted for Reagan, Minnesota did not. So we're the longest voting blue state in the nation. And the first same-sex marriage was actually performed in Minnesota in 1971.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we're a great state. We have work to do. We have some of the largest racial disparities in the nation between white and Black residents, but I'm very hopeful about what we can do together, because if we know policies can benefit white people, well, then we know that those should benefit Black people too. And we can
Exactly. That's a good way to look at it. Let everyone know why you are the best choice for voters this election season.
Sure. I mean, so I was born and raised in the community I seek to represent. I've lived here my whole life. I went to the schools here. I'm raising my kid here. And so when I think about, being a voice for this community, I'm of this community. And I think that's so important. A lot of times people want to divide us along the lines of party, but really what I have found is that voters want somebody that they can trust, that they can turn to, and that who will listen to them and bring them in to connect them to their democracy and be part of the process. Yeah. And so my unique experience as a policy wonk and as an organizer allows me to do that. The last is that, we are at a crossroads. We really are. I think people feel that we are at a really, really important moment in time and in history. And this moment demands that we have visionary leaders who can see a way forward, who are not scared to do the right thing even when it's hard, and who are ready to take on these big, tough challenges and stop tinkering on the edges. The last thing I'll say is, in this district, it's not just about electing me or flipping the state Senate blue, but it's also about making sure we return Angie Craig to Congress and reelect our governor and lieutenant governor, Walz and Flanagan, our attorney general, Keith Ellison, our secretary of state, Steve Simon, and the beloved Julie Blaha. We have the best auditor of all the auditors in the entire country. And so making sure that we inspire people to vote is actually really important. And just another fun fact about Minnesota, there has never been a Black woman in the Minnesota State Senate in its entire existence. And so if and when elected, I would actually be among the first Black women ever elected to the Minnesota State Senate.
Certainly. And I'm so glad that you brought up the importance of voting, because first of all, I'd like you to let everyone know when voting begins in Minnesota for the state Senate. And then we'll talk a little bit more about registering to vote after that. So please let everyone know.
Yes. So I will tell you a few things. So one, in Minnesota, we have online voter registration and same day voter registration. So you can register to vote at mnvotes.org. The primary election would be August 9th of 2022, and then general election is November 8th, 2022. So you can vote by mail. In Minnesota, we have no excuse absentee voting, so you can request your ballot, vote at home, do your research on the judges and the water conservation soil districts and all of those things that appear on the back of your ballot, or you can vote in person, and you can find out where to vote in person at, again, mnvotes.org.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And our viewers, please keep those dates, keep those deadlines in mind. You don't want to be caught unawares when it is election time. So please, you can go to headcount.org to check your voter registration status, pledge to vote, and register to vote. Once again, you can go to headcount.org to check your status, pledge to vote, and register to vote. Erin, how can people learn more about you, learn more about your campaign, follow you, keep up with what's going on? And, how can people volunteer and donate and support if they want?
Okay, so I've made this very easy for everybody. All of my social media handles are Erin Maye Quade. So at Erin Maye Quade on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. My website is also Erin Maye Quade. So it's ErinMayeQuade.com. And you can donate there. We're actually in the middle of a push right now to raise an extra $10,000 so I can take a few weeks off from fundraising after I give birth to this baby who's cooking. So you can help participate in my baby shower that way. We also have sign-up forms to volunteer. And you can follow me on all the socials. We put up things pretty often. We've secured endorsements from a lot of great orgs, and we love hearing from voters and supporters.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Erin, thank you for joining me today. It has been such a pleasure. It's so great to chat with you. And congratulations on the baby and good luck with the campaign.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. My pleasure. And those watching, please follow Team Racine Productions at Team Racine on all forms of social media. Click around the YouTube channel, see what's going on. We have interviews, we have vlogs, we have forums. We have a good time on here. So go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. But most of all, thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.